Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, beautiful people of the world. It's me, Lainey, and I hope you're having a phantasmical day. Today we are looking at all of the drawings I did for week 1 of Redraw Semper, because I was going to do a big thing at the end of the month where I just kind of compiled them all together, but after just doing the first 4 days, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to make this a weekly thing, because I have been putting a bit more effort into these redraws than I was initially intending to. I think they all look really good and they're massive improvements on the original drawings, but oh boy, is there a lot of footage here. Now, I only recorded all of the line art and colouring, but I still had over 5 hours worth of footage. Obviously, not all of them took as long as other ones. This one in particular took me about an hour and a half to colour, which doesn't seem like a lot, but for me it's a lot. I don't spend too much time on individual pieces because I get so distracted, so for me to have been able to sit down and record and actually remember to record all of these and actually sort of keep up with it is pretty good. I mean, I did miss a couple of days, but I was out with friends, so I didn't upload them on time, but it's fine. I'm posting them every day on Instagram, so if you want to go and check them out, that would be good. If you but if you want to just see the weekly thing at the end, you can just come check it out. But when it gets closer to Christmas, I'll do a bit more Christmassy ones, but for this week and next week I wanted to just redraw normal things that I would redraw just kind of anyway. A lot of the ones that I'm doing are redrawing digital drawings, and maybe I'll redraw some more traditional ones, but for now a lot of the ones I've decided to do are digital. This one is kind of digital here. Now let's talk about the one I'm actually drawing. This one originally was for my draw every day in the sketchbook. It's a challenge I gave to myself, and it was basically just I drew every day in that sketchbook until I didn't have any pages left in that sketchbook, and I did pretty well. If I missed a day, I would just catch up on it the next day or the day after, just kind of depends, but either way, there is something that was done for every day, and it is one of my favorite sorts of sketchbooks, because there's a lot of interesting sorts of drawings in there, and some are way better than others. Some of them are just really bad and not creative, and some of them I really enjoy. This one is one of my favorites that I got from the whole thing. It was actually done the day before Mermaid. Nope, not the day before. It was the 30th of March. This is before I decided to do Mermaid, but after I did this, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do Mermaid in the sketchbook, and I did Mermaid. But I thought that I did this one on Mermaid, but it turns out I redrew this for Mermaid 2019, I believe. I think I did this one originally in 2018 when I did the sketch. I think years get a bit iffy, but I love the pose, I love the colors. These characters aren't characters of mine or anything, but I feel like I can incorporate them somehow. But I love just the colors and the way that they work together, and so I'm like, I really want to redraw this one in my style that is now, and also want to make it fully digital. And I had so much fun drawing this one in particular. I feel like even though I didn't necessarily look up any references, I did learn a lot. I did experiment a little bit with some certain things, and honestly, I think it turned out really good. I really like how all of the ones turned out that I did this week, but I don't know, this is what made me really excited to do it. This is going to be okay, it was kind of just an idea that I thought that I might want to redraw every day, but I'm like, okay, I really want to redraw every day now. So, I'm really glad this one turned out as well as it did, because otherwise I might have given up already, even though it's only been a week. But you know, it's all good. But this one was originally done in 2017 because back in 2017 I realized that I'd just done a lot of like just simple drawings, just like characters, and they're just full body, just facing the I don't know, I guess the viewer, which, you know, that is still a lot of what my drawings are, but I went through a phase of I want to try to draw things that are a little bit more like artistic, I guess. So I ended up drawing this girl. She ended up being one of them. It's a half body. It's supposed to be her like looking to the side or looking a little bit away, but it just doesn't look like that. Like the neck is like way too far back, and the anatomy is just so wiggity whack. You probably can't see it very well because it's, you know, a very small-ish drawing, but her back in the old one looks so weird, and the shading, it's yikes. I used to want to do a lot more like softer shading, but I didn't know how to do it, so it was a lot of like, you know, the Gaussian blur. You know what it is. If you do art, you know about the Gaussian blur. So I don't use the Gaussian blur very much anymore, just because I love how like fun and painterly it looks when I just use the pencil tool. Basically, I only use the pencil tool unless for like very specific reasons why I wouldn't use the pencil tool, but the pencil tool is my art these days, just because I just love the way it looks. I always wanted this sort of style, but I could never figure it out before. Plus it's just a lot easier to do with an Apple Pencil, just a pencil on a drawing tablet. You know, I'm sure I could have like produced a similar sort of results with my phone and my finger, which was what I used from 2016 all the way up to the beginning of this year. So that's basically 4 years, because like the beginning of 2016 to the beginning of 2020, that's basically 4 years of just using my phone whenever I could. But now that I've got like, you know, my iPad, which I use literally only for drawing, I don't use my iPad for anything else. Some things have gotten easier, but some things have also gotten harder. Like when I'm on the bus or the train or the tram, I don't just whip out my iPad and start drawing, because it's not as inconspicuous. But I also don't draw. I usually play puzzle games. Irrelevant. But I really like how this one turned out. I like the shading. I like the backlighting, because, you know, I feel like I don't do it enough, but it always looks so good. The backlit rim lighting of the pink, it's just, I don't know. I also did a thing where she's currently right in the middle of like the canvas, but I move her in just a sec. I think it's gonna happen like right now-ish. Right now. Yeah, there it is. Haha. I figured it out. I'm a genius. But yeah, anyway, good. I think it looks good. Anyway, next one. Next one is a couple of my original characters. Now, it is a big, long history story, and you probably don't want to hear me talk too much about my original characters, but I will rant about them for as long as they are on screen. Okay, I can promise you that. But this is Christina. She is a demon. She's great. We love her. She's got her 2 kids, Candy, or Candace, who is also a demon currently at this moment in time. She does not stay a demon because stuff and reasons. Candy, I think, is supposed to be about 6 in this drawing, and then she's got an older sister, Lavender, who's 2 years older than her, so she'd be about 8, and she's the one who's sleeping. She's got the purple and blue hair. She's got, you know, same color hair as her dad, and Candy has the same color hair as their mum, but Lavi is not a demon because, I don't know, demons work very weirdly in my world. I don't really know why they work the way they do. I just decided they would do that one day, and then it's just kind of become very important, and I don't know, I find it interesting. But If you want me to rant more about my original characters, you can ask me questions, and you know, if I ever get like enough people like who actually want to know these things, I'll make a Q&A, but there's just not enough people here in this channel for me to like open up a Q&A, and it's fine. But anyway, I really like the old one, but it's just I always felt the proportions were really, really off. I don't know how well you can see it because I just took the picture with my phone. If you want to look at it better, I would suggest going on Instagram, not just for the plug of I want you to look at my Instagram, but also just cause. But this one is the only one of these that is from before I started doing digital art. This is from like really late 2015, just before like I figured out a lot of like the logistics of their relationship and everything. Maybe it was from early 2016, I don't entirely know. But it's just really cute. But I had a lot of problems with the original one. I didn't feel like their outfits made a lot of sense just for, in general, the characters that they are. And, you know, their stories have changed a lot since I drew the original, and I don't know, it's fine. It is entirely true that Christina, the mother, I have not figured out entirely what her style or her look is. Because just, I haven't focused too much on like her look and her style. I also need to figure out a better outfit for their dad, because I just do. But they're a cute-ish family, with very unfortunate circumstances, because of course they are, you know. Candy and two of my other original characters I call my pillars of tragedy, because bad things just seemed to happen when they were younger, and now their lives are just sort of trying to get back on track to a time where things are less depressing. I think my favorite thing about this drawing in particular is the shading, and I also wanted to try to make it look like they were sitting under a tree, but I didn't look up any references, which I should have looked up references. Always look up references. Don't do what I do. And I think the thing that I'm most upset about is that they don't necessarily look like they fit. Like, I don't know if it's like they blend in too much, but they also don't blend in enough. Like, they don't stand out, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like I could have gone a bit harder with some of the shading, but it's fine. At the end, I still think that it's a super cute drawing, and just significantly better than the original, although that isn't exactly a difficult thing to do, because the other one is just so old. Like, even the tree in the background, it's, what is that? Like, what? You know, the arms are way too short. Candy, who is supposed to be like really young, she's just, I don't know, she looks way too big, and then Lavender, who's supposed to be the older one, is like way too tiny, and she doesn't like look comfortable sleeping, but now she looks a bit more comfortable. It's just, I don't know, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And this is something I tried to do. I think it looks alright, but I don't know if I did it the best it could have been, and you know what, it's fine. I think it looks okay in the end. But yeah, anyway, if you want to know anything about any of my original characters, you can always ask me about them. Either here on Instagram, whatever, if you want to know about their story. If you, like, literally, if you message me anywhere, anytime, and you ask me a question, I will rant. I will rant and ramble all day, and you can't stop me, because I'm a DJ. I'm a DJ? That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, this is me, and I wasn't going to, like, put it in like the picture frame and then ruin it, but I'm like, that's kind of important. Like, it's an old photo that's kind of all like ruined, so that's why it is what it is. And I added a lot of like shinies over the image just because I think it looks really good. And also, I think my favorite part about like just this background extra bit was the tape, but you know, we don't get to see the tape until the end. And here we are on to day 4, which is this mafia woman, basically a good friend from back in 2018. I mean, I'm still friends with her. I'm in a Discord. This is Witchy Poo. We love Witchy Poo. Witchy Poo, Witchy Boo. I change my mind every single time. She's a great person, and you know what? I'll link to her channel down in the description below. But back in 2018, on a server that we were on, we were in Da Mafia. She was our queen. She's still a queen. I was the secretary because I'm always the secretary by choice. They don't make me. I choose to be. They ask, hey, what do you want to be? And I'm like, can I be the secretary? And they're like, okay. And I'm like, yes. I don't know. I don't have to do anything. But yeah, I drew everybody that was in this mafia. And I'm like, I was just kind of looking for ones to redraw, and I'm like, you know what? I really love this outfit just because, like, I think it's one of the better outfits that I've just kind of made up, especially, like, for this sort of weird style that it's not a style I ever, like, try to emulate, and that I think maybe that's why I just really like it, like, just so much. It's a completely black, white, and red theme, which, you know, it's not, like, an uncommon theme, but it's just not something me and my pastel life does a whole lot. Also with like the pastel pink hair, adorable. You know, they don't have pastel pink hair anymore in their design, but I love the pastel pink. But I had so much fun just like going back and just like even looking at all of the old drawings. It was a lot of fun. And even though like wasn't that long ago that this whole thing transpired, 2018 feels like it was 5 ever ago. Alright? Like it just simply does. I had a lot of trouble trying to get the bone pattern to work on this on these pants, but I really like the bone pants. That was just something random that I did just because, like, at the time, like, earlier that day, I saw somebody that had, like, bone leggings, and I'm like, I want to draw bone leggings. And then I was drawing this, I'm like, oh my god, yes. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I can do, like, stripies. And I'm like, but I don't want to do too many stripies because that looks weird. I'm like, ooh, what about, like, fun, asymmetrical? And I'm like, oh, yes. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk on how my brain works. Like, even though it was, like, 2 years ago that I drew this, I still know exactly how my brain worked because that's exactly how my brain still works when I'm trying to, like, fight outfits. I love creating outfits for characters. It's one of my favorite things to do. As much as I love making the characters themselves, I just love creating outfits for the characters. Sometimes I base characters entirely around specific, like, outfits or color schemes, and that's just kind of how it's always been. But, yep, I will link to Witchy Poo's actual content somewhere. I'm pretty sure they still do content. I'm like 90% sure, but my brain hurts too much to like double check, so I'll go do that. Anyway, I had so much fun with this. You know, I miss the mafia. It was a Minecraft mafia. I probably should say that. I'm not sure if I mentioned that it was Minecraft because I've been rambling so much. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but it was a Minecrafty. And yeah, and the gold elements. Oh, so good. This is also one of the ones where I colored in the outside line art, because usually what I do is I only color in like the inside line art, but this one I'm like, I'll color in the outside line art too, because there's a lot of like dark pieces going on, so might as well color in some of the inside bits. And I don't know, I just really like how this one turned out. I don't know if I showed like really any of the background drawing process. I guess I did a little bit, but I did basically for all of these ones there's like a little bit of like not recording progress that I did. Like I stopped recording and I was about to say, oh, but what if I did like this tiny little thing? And so that's what I did. Maybe it has a little, and it's got the M for the mafia. I wasn't going to include the M, but I'm like, I feel like I gotta, you know? But anyway, shout out to anyone from the mafia. If you know who you are, you know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, then you weren't part of the mafia. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyway, we're on to the next one. Now this one is slightly different from all of the other ones because I was copying the same sort of style, in quotation marks, of the original, being that this is a lineless drawing. It's the only lineless drawing I've done in this video. I don't know if I'm going to do any more because this one took so long to do. It wasn't the longest one. Actually, maybe it was. This one took as long as day 1 and day 3. I've kind of split it up as like a bigger piece and then a smaller piece, a bigger piece and then a smaller piece, except I did 2 smaller pieces for day 6 and day 7 just because I was busy, so I wanted to do something small. But this one took so long, but I love how this one turned out. So this one is based off of a drawing that I did in 2016, which is not the drawing that you see on the screen. Now the one from 2016 is actually 2 separate drawings from a challenge that I was doing with some of my original characters, where I would draw them every day for 15 days, because apparently I love doing challenges that make me want to die. Like drawing things consistently. What I should have done for this, by the way, is use the pen tool, just because it's so much easier to do a lineless drawing with the pen tool, at least this beginning stage. Because I had such a time. I don't want to say a good time, but I also don't want to say a bad time, but it was a time. But yeah, what was I saying? I've completely, oh yeah, anyway, daily drawings for 15 days, and it was drawing one character in a bunch of different outfits. As we've already established, I like doing those things. And watching this back now and like a speeding time, like, oh my god, this took me so long. It doesn't feel like it took me that long when I'm looking at it like this. Even the sketch for this one, the sketch for this took me the longest out of all of the sketches, just because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, or like how what I wanted to do was gonna work. And so anyway, one of the prompts was to draw your character in like a steampunk outfit. Now the thing is, I wanted to do this for all the original characters I had at the time, which was about 10-ish. You know, now I have about 110-ish currently, about to get dramatically more expanded, but I'd rather not think about it, to be honest. But I wanted to do it for all of them, and you know what happened? I only did it for these 2 girls in 2016, and then I did one more, Christina, who I drew earlier, for 2017. But this is actually Christina's 2 younger sisters, like way younger, like one's like 16 years younger, the other one's 18 years younger. Anyway, this is Sunny and Blaze. Sunny has the blonde hair and Blaze has the darker hair. They are both not demons, even though Christina is a demon, just because of how demons work. But, you know, they're fine. They're good. They're good. They're fun. They are probably one of, like, comparatively to, like, all of my older original characters, their stories are probably like the most neglected. So like they've still got like the same old story, even though it doesn't entirely fit, and I need to fix that, but I just simply haven't. And one thing that like people used to ask me about but don't ask me about is like, what happened to Sunny's eye? And I'm like, I don't tell people the reason. Like, I know the reason. I usually just say it's Blaze's fault, if they know who Blaze is. But anyway, her older sister got into a lot of trouble, and long story short, Sunny went to go and save her, bad things happened, magic happened, she got a really bad infection in her eye, and the only way to save her was to use magic to completely seal up her eye, except it's now made her look like this, and she's really self-conscious about it, but it's fine. Oh yeah, when I was doing the lineless drawing, back to this, I did something which I don't usually do when I do lineless drawings, but I'm like, you know what would make this look better? If I shaded this like how I shade all my other drawings. So after I did like all of the separate sections and I got all of the like the patterns that I needed to do, I merged all the layers and then just shaded everything at once. just because. But yeah, we are on to day 6, which is, I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily improved on this. I think the shading improved, but I don't know if the actual drawing improved, because the original one I used in like a actual image of some dude. I don't know who the dude is. I don't know where the image came from, but I didn't use an image when I redrew it. But it's just a dude. Yeah, it's just a dude. It's just a dude with like brown hair, you know. It's a lot more pastel than I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be darker like the original, but it's so hard to use darker colors when I'm just so used to using like pastel colors. I don't know why I struggle so much with something so simple and arbitrary, but it's fine. I'm fine. There isn't much to say about this guy. I do use the older drawing as like the picture for one of my Spotify playlists, but that's mostly just because I didn't want to look at just random album covers. So there's this, and there's like all of them that I use have pictures. But you know what? That could be a fun video, drawing covers for my Spotify playlists. I'm going to entirely forget that I even mentioned that. Like, somebody write this. Like, about, like, a month now. Like, okay. If anybody's watching this in, like, mid-January 2021. Oh, I hate that that's a date that's near. Don't you just hate that that's a day that's near? Like, 2021 is near. I hate it. I hate that. But if you're watching, like, mid-January 2021, remind me that was something that I wanted to do. I would greatly appreciate you. Anyway, I beg your pardon. Sorry. Somebody honked outside. I don't know if you heard that. But, man, I'm really impressed with the level of, like, shading that I did for this one. I don't know why. It just turned out really well, I think. Personally. But I feel like I also could have, like, I don't know, done something more. Because it's, like, it's really simple. I don't know if it's necessarily better. Like, I don't know if it's better. Like, this is the only one I look at, and I'm like, on a technical level, like, it's a lot better. Like, just the way that all the shading and stuff and everything works, but it's the reason why I liked it so much in the first place is it doesn't necessarily look like all of my other art, but this just kind of looks like it could just be one of my many original characters, which I don't hate, but it's just not what I planned. And this last one is other entirely traditional piece. It's just this random drawing I did one day where it's just a girl and she's supposed to be looking up, but I don't know, the face is really weird and her hair is like flowing and she's in like this weird galaxy world. I'm not entirely thrilled with how like the background came out, but everything else about that I really like. I really like how the girl came out. The background I'm not too much. Also, just, like, any excuse to draw, like, boobs. I don't know. Ever since, like, I kind of, like, it clicked in my brain how to, like, shade boobs properly, I just wanted to draw them more. I don't know if you can relate to that, but I've been just, nobody starts off, like, knowing how to do, like, everything in particular, but when you finally figure out something, you just want to do it more. I don't know. But, this is an entirely black and white image, so I wanted to do it, like, entirely black and white. When I did, like, the blush, I did add a little bit of red, but in the end, I did add, like, the smallest amounts of color, just because it was really hard to differentiate the girl from the background, just because of the way that I did it. Honestly, I think I would have been, like, plenty happy if I just like left it the girl without a background, but I didn't. You know what? It's fine. I think it's fine. I really like how all of these came out, and I'm excited to start week 2 after this. I really need to start it. I'm gonna start it with a redraw of a redraw of a redraw of a redraw. Yes, that's right. It's gonna be one of those many drawings that I've like redrawn like every year ish. Just cause it is, and I like these like big progress ones, but I will talk about that one more next week. So if you want to stick around and see what happens for next week's Drawcember, God, I hate that word. I don't think I'll change it, but I'm not entirely certain that I won't change it. But anyway, oh goodness, I hope you enjoyed this freaking 30-minute long video. If you've stayed this far to the end, honestly, like, you're the G. Like, you are the G. What's the G? You're just the G, you know? You're like that G, that you're just so G, you know? I don't know what I'm saying. Don't question it. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to do the YouTube things like, comment, subscribe. You know what they are. Links as always be in the description down below, so please go and check them out. Like I said, I've been posting all of these things on my Instagram, so greatly appreciate it if you check them out. I hope you all have a fantastic Tuesday wherever you are in the world. That's right, remember to post this on Tuesday this week. I can't believe it. Like, literally can't believe it. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday wherever you are in the world. And if it's not Tuesday when you're watching this, I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. And I'll see you all hopefully next week. I can post it on time. But yeah, enjoy all of the befores and afters. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna just let the end music play because I need water. God, my throat hurts.